What is it that pops into your mind when we talk about intelligence agencies? Ethan Hunt from the Mission Impossible series? A martini shaken not stirred from the Bond movies? Eggsy from the Kingsman series? These intelligence agencies are amazing in movies, but the plot is mostly fiction, though the reality of things isn't much different. These agencies exist as we speak, but we bet you already knew that. The CIA of the United States, RAW of India, even the British intelligence agency, MI6, among others, have long been known as some of the few popular intelligence agencies in the world. But some agencies stand tall among ranks, but are lesser known. In this video, we will shine a little light on one such intelligence agency known as the Mossad. It is an intelligence agency that operates out of Israel, one held responsible for a whole bunch of covert acts and conspiracies over the years. Keep watching Served Hot TV to find out why the Mossad is known as one of the top intelligence agencies in the world. The Mossad, or the Mossad Merkazi Lamodin Ule Tafkim Meyuhadim, which is Hebrew for the Central Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations, is one of the three major intelligence organizations of Israel. The other organizations are Amman, which is their military intelligence, and Shin Bet, which represents Israel's internal security. The Mossad is tasked with gathering foreign intelligence, intelligence analysis, and to carry out covert operations. The Mossad was formally established in 1948, during the declaration of the State of Israel. But the Jews created a group of organizations much before this. These organizations were known as Nili, Shai, the Syrian section, the Arab section, and the German section. These agencies helped define the base on which the Mossad operates today. One of the first missions by Israel's intelligence agencies was sending 4 men, Gamliel Cohen, Habakkuk Cohen, Yitzhak Shoshan, and Yakuba Cohen, into Arab countries to gather intel on any future attacks. They called themselves Mista Arvim, which meant those who become like Arabs. Having grown up in Arab lands, these men were the perfect agents for such a job. The thing is, Israel is a tiny Jewish country as compared to the enemy territories that surround it. An army was, and never will be, enough if Israel ever needs to defend itself from its foes. Therefore, an intelligence agency such as the Mossad was one of the best solutions to balance the odds. But apart from gathering intelligence, the State of Israel, being the only Jewish nation in the world, has taken it upon itself to defend Jews. In the past, several terrorist organizations killed Jewish people. Israel worked discreetly to bring those terrorists to justice. A perfect example of the Mossad's purpose is the story of Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi who organized the Identification Assembly, the deportation of Jews to extermination camps. It was carried out as part of Hitler's logistic plan called the Final Solution. After the war was over, Adolf Eichmann managed to escape capture, fleeing to Argentina in 1950. Eichmann went by a new name, Ricardo Clement. Later, he was joined by his family, ready to live the rest of his life in peace, but not for long. The Mossad was tipped off by a German Jewish judge, Fritz Bauer, of Eichmann's whereabouts. An 8-man snatch team, many of whom had watched their families exterminated during the Holocaust, was assigned to capture and transport Eichmann back to Israel for further trials. The mission was successful when on May 11, 1960, Eichmann was captured after getting off a bus. He was taken to a safe house, questioned for days, drugged, and then put on a plane for his trial. The trial was carried out on May 31, 1962, in Israel. If you think this mission was super covert, here's another that did not need any extraction. The Mossad had tied up with the CIA when it came to the assassination of Ahmad Mughniyeh, one of the founders of Hezbollah. Mughniyeh was popular among the CIA and Mossad for all the wrong reasons. The warlord was responsible for numerous high-profile terrorist attacks, some even in the United States. Here are just some of the misfortunate incidents that Mughniyeh had orchestrated. The bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, 1983. where 63 people were killed, including 8 CIA officers. The bombing of the Beirut barracks in the same year. Allegations about the kidnapping and execution of the CIA station chief, William F. Buckley, in 1984. Even the 1994 bombing of the Jewish Community Center in Buenos Aires. The warlord was in the spotlight, at least where terrorism was concerned. He managed to slip away from the CIA and Mossad for some time. He would often move from one place to another quickly, or use plastic surgery as a means to keep himself on the down low. But soon, his fate would change. In 2008, the Mossad tracked Mugnia down to Damascus, Syria. A team of Mossad agents rigged a bomb on the spare tire at the back of a vehicle. The vehicle exploded via remote detonation as Mugnia approached the vehicle. And that's how a warlord of Hezbollah was taken out. But extractions, trials, and executions were not all the Mossad was about. The intelligence agency had its fair share of bombing nuclear facilities. If you followed the news back in 2001, you'd know that North Korea and Syria were in sync and cooperation concerning nuclear weapons. It caught the Mossad's attention, and they started to investigate it further. In 2006, they were able to detect a suspicious construction site. This site was located in a remote region in northeastern Syria, with the river Euphrates nearby. The site was covered with a roof, so you couldn't see what was inside. The Mossad suspected a secret nuclear program at this site. In 2007, Israeli commandos retrieved soil samples and photographs from this facility. This allowed them to identify nuclear material that originated in North Korea. There was enough evidence to confirm Syria was constructing a structure that dealt with nuclear energy. In the same year, the President of the United States, George W. Bush, refused to execute a military strike. However, it did not stop Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert from indicating Israel would act alone. Sure enough, weeks after his statement, Israeli jets flew over the construction site, or as they called it, the cube, bombing the structure, making sure all that was left was rubble. One of the last on our list of Mossad missions is the one where they rescued Ethiopian Jews from refugee camps in Sudan. Back in the 1980s, Ethiopia went through a rough phase that included civil war, famine, and an invasion from Somalia. This made it difficult for Ethiopian Jews to survive as they were persecuted. In an attempt to escape their problems, many of the Ethiopian Jews migrated to Sudan, where they lived in refugee camps. But Sudan was a Muslim-majority nation and was non-cooperative with Israel. So the Mossad had to find a different way to evacuate these Jews from Sudan. They opened a beach resort called the Arouse Resort. During the day, the Mossad agents ran the place just like regular resorts would. The agents disguised themselves as divers, managers, and even carried out daily operations to reduce any suspicion. Some of the resort's guests included British SAS troops, foreign diplomats, even Sudanese government officials. The crazy part is, none of them ever suspected their hosts to be of Mossad intelligence. At night, however, this resort transformed into a massive extraction point. The Mossad agents would head out to refugee camps and return with Ethiopian Jews. The refugees were put on a boat and sent to Israel. The operation, initiated in 1981, went on successfully until 1985, with about 7,000 rescued Ethiopian Jews. Now, if you ask us, that's a super successful mission. Today, the Mossad continues to gather intelligence on other countries through covert operations. And while there are many such covert operations that we know about, there are those that we are unaware of, and will probably never know about them, ever. Given the Mossad's success streak in the operations it carries out, we think it's earned the title as one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. What do you think about the Mossad? Drop a comment in the section below. And thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with the people you think will enjoy spy stuff, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching Sir